Hi everyone, and welcome to the Knit California channel. My name is Leslie. I'm a knitter and knitwear designer from Southern California, and today I've got a regular podcast episode for you. So grab something cozy to drink, grab something to work on, and let's get into it. I am excited to be talking to you today. It's been 2 weeks since my last podcast episode, so I have a lot of progress on my 4 whips to talk to you about, to update you guys on. I don't have any finished objects. I do have a lot of spinning updates also, and I have a couple acquisitions. So I've got my big basket here full of everything that I want to talk to you guys about today. And yeah, I'm just really excited to get into it, to show you all of the progress that I've made over the last couple of weeks. So why don't we get started? I don't know if I think maybe one of these projects is new, but that's okay. We can maybe save that one for the end. But let's start with this first project, which is my Tynn Line striped drop shoulder t-shirt design. Here it is. This is probably the project that I've made the least amount of progress on, so it's probably a good thing that I'm showing this to you first. We can get it out of the way. Here is where I was on the last podcast episode 2 weeks ago, and you can see where I am now. I need to complete 5 more white stripes to finish out the body, and I've only done 1, so I've really only done, I don't know, 4, 8, I don't know, maybe like 12 rows on this in the last couple of weeks. This one definitely hasn't been my priority project. It's really just been there if I need a project to like knit on in the round. But now that I have like a lot more projects on the needles, I have a lot more options to work on, and I don't know, this is definitely more of like a spring summer project, and it's not one that I'm reaching for as often. It's a fingering weight project. The yarn isn't, you know, as fun to work with as some of the other like yarns that I'm using, but it is going to be amazing when it's done. I am very excited for it to be complete. I know it's going to be like the perfect spring summer garment to wear when it is done. So as a reminder, if you haven't seen this garment before, the yarn that I'm using for this is the Sandnes Garn Tynn Line. So this is a blend of 53% cotton, 33% viscose, 14% linen. So it's a really nice soft cotton linen blend, and that is specifically why I wanted to use this yarn for this project. It's the fingering weight version, actually, of the top that I'm wearing right now. This is the Line, so the like DK worsted version of this yarn, and I really liked this top so much that I'm wearing, that I knit, and I wanted like a more lightweight version of it, a fingering weight version of it. So that is what I'm making. That's what I'm designing. I really like the stripes. I'm in like a total stripe phase right now. I just finished the Olga sweater by Petite Knit also. That was a striped sweater. So yeah, I also wanted this to be striped as well. So not much of an update, but an update it is. So I'm gonna move my little progress keeper. There we go. it's moved now. So next time on the next podcast, we can see how much progress I've made, if any. So, all right. That is project number 1. Let me show you next project number 2. So this is my Traveler Shell by Andrea Mowry. On the last podcast, I was right here. This is my progress keeper. I know this is kind of hard to see. This yarn is really dark. Okay, let me try and hold this still. Okay, here we go. So here's where I was on the last podcast episode, and here's where I am now. So this doesn't feel like a lot of progress, but this is maybe 1.5 inches. These markers over here are inch markers. So from the ribbing, here's 1 inch, 2 inches, 3 inches. The pattern wants you to knit a certain number of inches before you move on to the next step, where we're gonna split for sleeves. This is a bottom up knit. I did make a decision that I am going to do less. I'm going to do fewer inches in the body, because I want the body of my cardigan to be shorter. My torso is relatively short comparatively to like the, I guess, general population, like sizing charts. So when I was looking at the schematic and the length that she wants you to knit this to, and then I was also thinking about my swatch and how much this pattern is going to grow in blocking, I was thinking that I think it's going to end up being a little bit longer than I want it to be. So I'm going to knit it about 1 inch or 2. Yeah, I decided to knit 1 inch shorter than I need to knit. So that's it. I'm just going to knit it 1 inch shorter. All of that to say, I'm going to knit it 1 inch shorter than it needs to be. So anyways, I've got 3 inches now. It's a lot. I mean, here's the whole thing. It looks so long, but like, I mean, obviously it's a full cardigan, so you wrap it around yourself and it's not wrapped around my whole shoulders. It's a normal cardigan length, you know, so, or width. It's perfect. It's a good size. It'll fit. It's not going to be too big. It's not going to be too small. It just feels like a lot to start at the bottom up. I don't knit bottom up pretty much ever. It's been a really, really long time since I've done a bottom up garment, so it just feels like a lot. I did find, I was knitting on this and I was like, this is going so slow. I found myself like stopping in the middle of rows, like after every row, because each row is just, it's like a knit or it's a purl row. It's a knit or it's a purl row. And it's not, you know, every other row, because just that's the nature of the stitch pattern. It's not knit 1, purl 1, knit 1, purl 1. But yeah, I found myself just not enjoying it at first. Then I realized I need to be doing something more than just like watching TV, watching a show while working on this project. So I realized this is actually the perfect project to work on while reading a book. Because I can do a full row of knits, I can do a full row of purls while reading a book. That's actually the perfect thing to do while reading a book on my Kindle. Actually, when I'm reading, I like to read on my iPad because there's more words on a screen, so I don't have to flip the page as often. And it occupies my mind way more than a TV show. So I'm not thinking about this, but my hands are busy. So this is perfect for that. I made a lot of progress while I was finishing Metal Slinger. That was the last book that I read, Metal Slinger. It was really good, that ending. Everyone said there was a twist that I didn't see coming. And the whole book, I was like, what could this twist be? And at the end, it was a twist I didn't see coming. So, you know, it got me. Can't wait for the second book. Highly recommend if you are into like, you know, fantasy, romantasy stories. So anyways, yeah, I am enjoying this now. I've got my first 3 inches. I've got more to go, but anyways, let me tell you about the yarn that I'm using for this. I am using the Gilpin Lalland yarn. It's a 100% lamb's wool. It says Lalland DK, but this is actually more of a fingering weight yarn. This pattern is a fingering weight pattern. I'm using 3.5 millimeter needles, US 4 needles for this. So this is a 50 gram 175 meter, 190 yard yarn, proudly made in Scotland. When we were on the Scottish knitting tour, we did a workshop with Gilpin. We got to meet her and her partner Sheila Greenwell, and it was amazing. It was fascinating. Gilpin does a lot of work on Gansey knitting, and so this yarn is made specifically in mind for Gansey knitting. I really thought originally, well, when I bought this yarn, I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do with it, but I really wanted to make one of the travelers with this yarn. And then I was like really going back and forth, and I was like, oh, should I actually use this for like a Gansey sweater? But then I was like, Gansey style knitting does have a lot of like knits and purls in it. Like all of the motifs are made with just knits and purls, and like this is just knits and purls. So technically, I think I'm gonna be okay. I don't think I'm doing Gilpin wrong with this. Anyways, the color is called Storm Petrol. So I think it's really, really hard for the color to come across well on camera. I think you're getting a little bit of a sense of what this is. It's a really, really dark teal color. I would say more blue than green, but it's really, really gorgeous. I love it so much. And it's gonna be really pretty when it's done. So I have 10 balls of this. I am slightly worried that I'm gonna run out of yarn, but I think I should be okay. Like, if I'm thinking about it, like 5 skeins of fingering weight yarn should get me like a full cardigan, right? 1, 2, 3. I am into I'm on my 3rd ball of yarn already, which would be like I've gotten into my 2nd skein of yarn. I don't know, it just feels like I've used up a lot of yarn already, but I have knit the pockets also, so we'll see. Also, my plan is to make this long sleeve. So worst case scenario is that I can't knit this long sleeve until I go back and get more yarn when I go back next year. Because I bought this yarn when I was in Scotland. I think I just said that. And I'm going back to Scotland next year, and we are going back to Gilpin's studio next year. So anyways, that's that. Let me move my little progress keeper, my little mermaid progress keeper. Okay, there she is. Safe and sound on where we are now. So, okay, that is the Traveler's Shell by Andrea Mowry. I mentioned in one of my last podcasts, or my fall knitting plans video, also that this is my first Andrea Mowry pattern. And a lot of people have been messaging me like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it's your first Andrea Mowry pattern. And I'm like, I know. It's so scandalous. So crazy. I have to say, I love the way that her patterns are written, just like the format. Everything is very clear, very clearly laid out. Yeah, it's very nice. Very, very nice. Okay, anyways, let's move on. And let me show you the progress on my book club cardigan. So this is the book club cardigan by Sari Nordlund. I have made a lot of progress since I last showed this to you. I had to go back and double check the last podcast episode to make sure I didn't forget to move my progress keepers, because it just felt like I forgot or something. But actually, on the last podcast episode, I had only done this much of the left front, and that's where we were. I had done the back panel, I had done the right front, and I had only done this much of the left front. Well, now we are completely joined under the arm. So it's looking like a real cardigan now, you guys. It looks so good. So just let me show you. So we finished the full right front, I think. I don't know, whatever side. No, this is the left front. Whatever side this is. Well, let me think. This is the right and this is the left. So we finished the full left front. And I had to go back and lengthen the back panel. So here's where the back panel had ended, and so I had to add this much more to the back panel to make sure that the cable charts lined up when I joined in the round, even though it's a cardigan, so it's not fully in the round. So I did that, and yeah, now I'm just knitting back and forth on it until, well, I have to knit, I don't know, I think I have to knit 5 inches or something, and then we're going to place something for the pockets, I think. But it looks so good. And I stuck my arm through the armhole, and this is gonna fit, the armhole is gonna fit really nicely, so I don't think I have any issues here with the width of the armhole, so I'm happy with that. And yeah, it's just looking really, 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 really good. So yeah, I'm really, really happy with it. So this has actually been it's weird to say, this has been the main project that I've been gravitating towards in the evening, because I have the cable pattern memorized at this point, which is wild, but that's great. And I don't know, it's just there's a lot going on it, but it's not boring. So it's very enjoyable to work on. And so that's, I don't know, there's each of my projects has a different level of stuff going on. So this one is very, very interactive, right, with cables going on, and even on the non-cable rows knits and purls, knits and purls, knits and purls, everything. There's something going on every single stitch. And the yarn combination is very, very tactile, right? There's some, it's different. So like that's this project. This project, my Traveler Shell, very, very simple, right? Because it's just very, very long, very, very linear. You're just doing a knit or you're just doing a purl. But the yarn is very interesting. The yarn, this feel of this 100% lamb's wool yarn is a very, very nice feel. It's very, very soft. So like that gives it an edge, that gives it something, that gives it like extra points. It gives it a 1-up over my Tynn project, but it's like more boring, I would say, than the Tynn project. The Tynn project is just knitting in the round, so it's not purling at all, which is nice. It does have that advantage over the Traveler Shell. So again, it really just depends like what mood I'm in. But when I'm just sitting down to like watch the Vampire Diaries, like this for the most part is what I'm grabbing. Or the Traveler Shell. But I don't know, 4 out of 5 days, this is what I'm grabbing, which is crazy to me. Because I spent so long like not wanting to work on this at all. Anyways, let me tell you about the yarn that I'm using for this. I actually have the labels in here because I had to start brand new balls of yarn this week. So the main yarn that I'm using, this is Berroco Lanas Lite in the colorway Phlox. This is a sport weight yarn. 100% wool, a special blend of South American wools made in Peru. 100 grams, it's 350 meters, 383 yards. And then I'm holding it with the Knitting for Olive soft silk mohair. Not very special, I think everybody knows about the Knitting for Olive soft silk mohair. In the colorway Dusty Violet. And yeah, it's like a lighter main color with a darker mohair. And it's making a really, really pretty sweater. All right, so I've got 2 progress keepers on here, but I don't need 2 anymore. So I'm gonna remove this one. This one was a little whale, and this one is a butterfly. Okay, there we go. So we've got our butterfly on here. It's gonna stand out more with its bright glittery pink. Okay, so that is my book club cardigan by Sari Nordlund. Okay, I have one more project to show you, and actually I do think this is a new project. I don't think you've seen this one on the podcast yet. I have a crochet project. Okay, so when I went to Flock Fiber Festival with Rachel from Rachel is Knitting, we purchased yarn from Sewrella Yarn, her new home collection, and we decided that the project that we both wanted to make with this yarn is the Shoop, the African Flower Sheep by Heidi Bear's Design. I think I'm saying that correctly. If I'm not, it's over here. And the reason that we wanted to make this is because when we went to the Lamb and Kid on Bainbridge Island, they had one of these lambs, Shoop the sheep, in the store, and it was very, very, very cute. And Rachel said, I need one. And I said, you should find yarn here at Phlox to make one as like your Phlox project. She was like, yes, that's a great idea. And then we were looking at the Sewrella home line, and I was like, that would be great yarn for your Shoop the sheep. And then I was like, I want to make one too. So that's what we decided to do with our Sewrella home yarn. So the colors that I got are these three. So this dark pink is Betty. The light pink is called Saturday, and the yellow is called Honeybee. So here's all three of them together. And then the white that I got to go along with them is Chamomile. They have a couple different whites in the collection. There's another one called Love Letter, and I want to say there was a third one as well. But I thought this one just went better overall. It's a little bit more creamy, not as like crisp, bright white. And yeah, I do think it goes really, really nicely. So I got one skein of each of these, and I have 2 skeins of the Chamomile. And the Sewrella Yarn Home Collection, if you're not familiar, this is their new like mill yarn collection. Like large scale, like slightly more, like think slightly more commercial yarn, not hand dyed. Yeah, like mill yarn. It's 80% superwash merino wool, 20% cashmere style nylon. It's a like heavy DK, so 100 grams, 212 yards. And this went on sale the Friday night before the Phlox marketplace opened, and a ton of the colorways sold out online like before the Saturday Phlox marketplace. And so Rachel and I got so worried. We were like, oh my god, these colors are gonna sell out so fast. Like we need to go to the Sewrella booth immediately as soon as we get there, because we were really worried about colors selling out in person, the ones that we wanted to get. Luckily, as soon as you walked into the Phlox marketplace, the Sewrella booth was like literally right there. It was the first one as soon as you walked in. So as soon as we got in, that's where we went first. And there was already a line to check out, like by the time we got there. And we were literally like in the line, like we didn't like wait to like go to Phlox. Anyways, none of that matters. I have started making Shoop, the African flower sheep, and it's very fun. It's all made out of like hexagons, octagons, pentagons, and you connect all of them, and then it's gonna form a very cute animal, a sheep. So let me show you what I've got so far. I started last week, and you start at the bottom and you build your way up, and then you make the head. So I started at the bottom and I made all of the feet, and I am doing the join as you go method. So when I started this last week, I decided to follow the instructions and like crochet each hexagon, and like I crocheted one, and then I crocheted the next, and then I joined it, and then I crocheted one, and then I crocheted the next and joined it. So I was joining it all as I went. And then, so that's how I did each of the feet. So like I did one and then I joined it, and then I did one and then I joined it. So that's what we've got here. I don't even know how to show this to you, but so like, okay, here's a foot, and it's got 2 hexagons, and it like opens up, right? So this is gonna get stuffed It's gonna be a little leg. And so there's 4 of these. Can you see? Can you see there's 4 of them? And they're connected by the belly, belly, the stomach, which is an octagon. And it looks all floppy now, but it's gonna get connected to other shapes at some point. Okay, so this is what I have, and the downside to doing it this way, is that I didn't like block any of these hexagons or any of these shapes before I joined them, and I don't actually really think it's that big of a problem, but when I was like looking at the instructions, by the way, I think are pretty thorough. In talking with Rachel, we have found like one kind of big mistake at the very beginning. It tells you, there's a section that tells you the number of shapes that you need to make. Overall, it says like the number of colored hexagons to make is this, and the number of colored pentagons to make is this. And as I was reading through the instructions, I was like, those numbers are completely wrong. And like Rachel had started making all of her shapes just based off of those numbers, and I had started going through just the instructions and like, you know, obviously joining them all together. But I had written down those numbers in my journal to like make sure that I had even numbers of color distribution, because I have 3 different colors. And so when I realized that the number of hexagons is actually way more that you have to make compared to what it said in the beginning of the pattern, I immediately texted Rachel and I was like, you need to make way more hexagons and like way fewer pentagons than it says. And she's like, I already made way more pentagons than it says. I was like, I'm sorry. Why has this pattern has been out for so long? Why has nobody like discovered this? I don't know. Anyways, I was looking at the pattern photos and I was like, why do her shapes just look so crisp in her photos? And first of all, I was like, well, they're photos, you know, maybe they're edited. But also I was like, well, she probably blocked them into perfect, you know, hexagons. And mine definitely aren't blocked. And then I was like, that is the downside of just joining them immediately, is I didn't block them. So for the next round here, I have to do a lot of hexagons. So what I did was I crocheted them all first, and yesterday, or the day before, I steam blocked them all, and they're pretty crisp. They look pretty good here. So now I can go and crochet them all on to Shoop. So that's what I'm gonna do next. I actually don't think it's gonna make that much of a difference compared to like the legs. And at the end of it, you know, I can come back and steam the legs here. And I think once he's full of polyfill also, it'll be fine. So the one thing that I did do differently, and someone tell me if this is gonna annoy me in the future. So on all of these hexagons, So the round, okay, you can see on this one, the petal is yellow, right? And then after that, there's a round, it's round number 4, and I did it in white, and it's the round that actually outlines the petal and includes this really long double crochet that comes in. You can see that it's all single crochets around and then the long double crochet in. And I did this on all of these in white. Well, I was watching Rachel's video last weekend and I realized that she did that round in the same color as the inside of her hexagon. And I was like, that's really cute. Why didn't I do that? So on all of these ones, that's what I did. So you can see it's all a single crochet and then the long double crochet comes in and it's the same color as the inside. Now all of the join, so the next round is a double crochet round and it's going to be in white. Is it going to bother me that like these ones have more white compared to these ones? I don't know. I think I'm gonna have to wait and see when they're joined what it's gonna look like. I'm hoping that since I was consistent on all of these on the legs, maybe it's just gonna look like, oh, that's just how the legs look. You know, it's just different on the legs. And then everything else on the body is just gonna be like this. That's what I'm hoping for. So everyone cross your fingers that that's how I feel. But yeah. Anyways, this has been really, really fun to crochet. I've memorized this pattern now too. I don't need to look at the instructions anymore on what I'm doing on this. And the, you know, the hexagon, the octagon, the pentagon, even though they're different shapes, it's still the same like pattern basically. You just do different number of rounds on the inside to get the different number of petals or whatever. So yeah, I've memorized all of this, so I can do this without looking now too, which is great. I'm really proud of myself. So this is coming along very, very nicely. And yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with it. So after I finish this, I'm definitely gonna want to keep crocheting. So I'm gonna have to pick a new crochet project. I have a couple in mind. I promised my brother that I would do some crochet things for him and his kids. So I think I have to do that one next. And then maybe I'll finally be in a place where I can start a really big project that I've been looking to start for an entire year. We'll see. We'll see. So anyways, that is little Shoop, the African flower sheep. Right now it kind of just looks like a car. Vroom, vroom, vroom. He's got some flower wheels, some flower power wheels. So, but Shoop has been living in one of my favorite bags ever that I also got from Phlox. This is my Mabel quilted bag. I'm just obsessed with this. And it comes with like a big, like over the shoulder strap. I took it off to use it as like a project bag because I'm not like taking this out of the house. So I only need these handles. And when I work on this project sometimes I can work on it like while in meetings. And so I can hang this from like a desk drawer right next to my big chair and just have the yarn hanging out of it, and it works perfectly. It's really, really nice. So Okay, anyways, that's Shoop. Love this project. It's going really, really well. Okay, that is all of my knitting and crochet projects. So let's move on. I want to talk to you about my spinning, my spin diary. I have been spinning up a storm over the last couple of weeks. I have 3 new skeins to talk to you about. I have 4 new skeins to talk to you about. One of them I had pretty much just finished before the last podcast. I think I just had to ply this or finish plying this on right before the last podcast episode. So this is Poppy, if you remember. So this, here's Poppy. This was the fiber that I had gotten from Jess from Witchfire Fibers at Phlox Fiber Festival. It's the fiber from her own personal home flock of sheep. And I had 2 of the bats and I spun them together. And yeah, here is the beautiful skein that I made. This yarn is so soft and I can't wait to use this. I ended up spinning this pretty thin, which is crazy. So I really wanted to use this. I really want to use this in a design idea that I have. With another skein of hand spun. So I just have to make sure that the other skein of hand spun that I use is also one of my thinner hand spun skeins, because this is also really thin. I don't want to use a thick skein or it's going to be really uneven. So. But this was really, it was really an interesting spin, to spin from that bat, and it was just a different like fiber experience, because it like wasn't, you know, it wasn't like a perfectly prepped fiber bat, you know, it was like a homemade fiber bat, which it was just fun. It was different and it was fun and it was a very special experience and I loved it. So this is Poppy, and let's see. I've been wanting to cast this on, but also I'm a little scared. So let's see if I build up the courage to do so this week. Okay. The next one that I spun up last week was this. I am so in love with this skein. Okay, so this is Blarney yarn. And okay, I bought these 2 braids of fiber at Phlox Fiber Festival. One was like pink and orange and yellow, and one was like green, blue, and orange. And I just had this vision of pairing them together. One was called Berry Kiss, and it was the show colorway. And the other was called, that was the pink one. And then the green one was called Painted Hills. They were both 2 ounces. So they were basically like a normal 100 gram braid of fiber is like 4 ounces, so they were half of that. So I knew like getting 2 and spinning them together would be perfect, the perfect amount of fiber to get like a full braid. It's US Shaniko wool, so it's a blend of merino and rambouillet, and this couldn't have come out more perfect if I had tried. Like, this is exactly what I thought it would be. It's so beautiful. Like, I love this so much. It's so pretty. It's so pretty. So yeah, I'm obsessed with this one. I want more. I should have bought more. Like, I would knit a whole sweater in this, honestly. I would do it. I would wear it. So yeah, this is my Blarney yarn spin. That was number 2. And then I've spun both of these over the last 48 hours. So this one is from Keira Wiggins, also from Phlox Fiber Festival. All of these are from Phlox. This is a dark purple moody braid. So this fiber blend is called Creme Brulee. It's a 75% Polworth wool, 12.5% camel, 12.5% mulberry silk, 100 grams. And the color is called Groovy Ruby. So definitely like reddish purple, burgundy, which I think you can see, definitely. So gorgeous. This one, I think you can, this one is definitely like thicker in its spin. Like, you can see the individual, not that one, but some of the individual strands are like definitely really thick. So like this is one that I would not use with that poppy white, because it's like really, really thick compared to that. So that's that. And then this is another one of my new pride and joys. This is the cotton candy snack pack from Little Fiber Co. that I just spun up. And I spun this up in a fractal spin. Fractal style spin, I guess, is that how you say it? So the way that I did this, so each little colorway came separate, and I have a photo of that. So each colorway was already separate. So what I did was I separated each colorway in 2. I tried my best to, I separated these pretty freaking good. Like, I was almost exactly even on each bobbin. So I was proud of myself. Okay, so anyways, I separated each color in half, and then I started with half of them on one bobbin. And on this first one, what I did was each color I split into 8 strips. So I had 8 colors, I had 8 strips of each, so I had 64 little strips, and I spun each of the colors in rainbow order. So like color A, B, C, D, E, F, G, I think that's 8. And then I went back A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, 8 times. So round and round and round and round and round. Okay, so that was the first bobbin. The second bobbin, I spun each color all the way through until it was done. So yes, I divided each of them into strips just to make it easier for me to spin, easier to manage, but I spun all of the first color until it was done. And I did them in the same order that I spun them on the first bobbin, which I tried. Actually, I did not do it in the order that's on here. I did it in like rainbow order. That made sense to me. So it was like white, pink, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. But I spun all of the first color, then all of the second color, all of the third color, and then on and on and on. And then I applied those together. And that, at least that's how I understand. That's how you do a fractal spin. If I'm wrong, somebody tell me, but that's how it was explained to me. So that's how I did it. And this turned out really, 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 really pretty. It's so pretty. It's so cool. And yeah, I'm obsessed. I'm just, it's so good. It's so, 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 so good. Yeah. And it's just, it's pastel. It's like, it couldn't have been named better if you tried. Like, it's cotton candy. So Lauren nailed it on this. This was her Tour de Fleece colorway cotton candy snack pack. It's a Polworth Rami blend, so 80% white Polworth, 20% Rami comb top. I really enjoyed this fiber. It was really, really nice to spin, so I would definitely work with it again. But yeah, gorgeous. I can't wait to knit this up. I don't know what I'm gonna knit it as, but I can't wait to knit this up. It's gonna be really pretty. So yeah, that is it. So these are my four fibers that I've spun up in the last 2 weeks. Crazy. I know, crazy. I guess these ones in the last 2 days, so, you know. Okay, last thing here, I have a couple of acquisitions. I have kind of been going crazy ordering Sewrella yarns Taylor Swift colorways. I know. But she brought back Cruel Summer as like a color of the week, and I don't know, it really spoke to me on her cashmere sock base. The colors just like really like blended together really prettily. That's not a word. So I had to get this. I just couldn't leave it behind. Especially this right here, this like orangey pink. Isn't that gorgeous? So just one skein. And then I also ordered her August Era's Yarn Club. I just got this in the mail this week, so if you haven't received your August Yarn Club and you don't want to be spoiled, look away. I got both the variegated and the tonal. The variegated was based off of Sew High School, and the tonal was based off of the Alchemy. She had mood boards for these, and I looked everywhere. I thought I took screenshots of them. I thought they would still be on the website. I couldn't find them. But the mood boards for them, this was the first time I had seen a mood board also for the Yarn Club. Maybe I don't always look. Mostly because I was burned by February. And, but I felt like the mood boards were very, very accurate. And I really, really like these colors, actually. So anyways, I'm going to show you the variegated now. Here's So High School. I think it's very pretty. I got it on the Stellina fingering base also. So I don't know if you can see the sparkle. You can kind of see it. And here is the tonal, the Alchemy. I'm going to give you a color description right now also. It's more purple than red, and I really like it. It's really pretty. I also got this on Stellina. I wish I had gotten a sweater quantity of this. I would 100% knit an Alchemy pullover in this, the Alchemy. So I am still hopeful that this whole club situation is coming back as a full collection. Maybe it's like a January collection or something. So we'll see. And if that's the case, then I will be buying a full sweater quantity of this. I think in Stellina, I think I would make a fingering weight version using my Alchemy tea pattern that is still in design process, but I think I would use the t-shirt pattern and make a long sleeve version of this in this yarn, because I think that would be gorgeous, right? In the Stellina, I think that would be so pretty. So that's the dream. That's the dream, that this comes back. So anyways, that is it. Those are my 3 little acquisitions. So chugging away on all these whips, I do still have that cast on energy. I'm still thinking about the Ovis sweater by Caitlin Hunter, that color work. So I'm thinking about that. I don't know if that means I'm going to cast it on, or if I just need to cast on that design idea I have with this, because this is also color work. So maybe that'll scratch that color work itch, or is it really that pattern that is just calling to me? I don't know. So we'll see if I have any other cast-ons by the next time we podcast. I'm just in a huge spinning zone right now, so we'll see how many more spins I have the next time we talk. And I've also, over the last like 24 hours, have had a lot of inspiration about the Yarn Enthusiast journals. So I know I talked about this, I think in the last episode, maybe the one before that, but if you have any thoughts, if you have one, if you've used it, and you have any thoughts or ideas or suggestions, again, open for any comments or emails that you would like to send me about that as well. So I think that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you're not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. It truly means a lot. And I will see you on the next one. Bye!